All right, good afternoon, Storage Ace community. Welcome to another quick Monday mindset. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about being persistent. One of the things that I've learned in the 23 years in sales and sales leadership leading up to my recent departure from my W-2 in corporate America to focus 100% on self-storage is the value creation of being persistent. I was just on a call with a community member, a Storage Ace community member, and we were talking about process, and we were talking about staying in front of potential leads or contacts of storage facility owners to create deal flow and to create pipeline. And we talked about the notion of being persistent and how persistent should we be and how do we create systems around that. And so I shared a story, and I want to share that story with you about a lesson that I learned very early in my career about being persistent. So it was about 2003, 2002 timeframe. I was working for a company called WebEx Communications back then, before it got acquired by Cisco. And this was prior to there being any sort of CRM that had automatic sequencing technology or emailing technology on your behalf. Like everything was just very off the desk, right? Very much single emails out, single phone calls out. And my territory, which happened to be New York City at the time, I split it with another gentleman. There was a lot of technology companies focused in the finance sector. And one of those companies was called LiquidNet. And every single month, like clockwork, on whatever third Tuesday of every month, I would send an email to Tony T, the director. I still remember his name, Tony T, because this was such a profound lesson in my life. But I sent a message to Tony T, an email, and Tony responded back, "Hey, Dave, we're not interested. Thanks so much. No longer interested. Take me off your list." And this is before there's like unsubscribe and email. This is before there's probably any sort of spam laws. So we're probably today breaking some rules and breaking some laws, but back then it was a little bit of the Wild West and we were taking advantage of it fully on the sales team. And so every single month I would be sending out these mass emails and Tony T was on that list. And about after month 5, and honestly probably 5 times of him telling me no, he sent an email. He sent an email to the president of WebEx, Dave Berman, and copied me on it and just said, essentially, tell Dave Demink to stop emailing me, or I'm going to contact the police, the federal government, et cetera, about your messaging. And obviously, Dave forwarded me the message. I was already on it, but he's just like, hey, let's take Tony off the list, but keep doing what you're doing, because I was a top seller and I was doing really well. Fast forward 2 months, and I get an email from Tony T. And the email from Tony essentially let me know that LiquidNet, the company that he worked for, had just purchased or had just done a deal with Scottrade. And Scottrade was one of these like E-Trade, but they had physical offices, 2,000 of them around the country. They had just bought LiquidNet software for trading equities and stocks. And now LiquidNet had a problem. That problem was that they had to install their LiquidNet software on about 5,000 desktop computers across all of these locations in the country, and there is no way for them to physically do that. They can't fly to 2,000 different locations or drive around to 2,000 different locations. WebEx happened to have had this product called Systems Management. Systems Management allowed anybody to install a tiny piece of software that allowed another computer to connect to that computer, but at scale. You could do hundreds or thousands of these at a time and then push software programs onto those computers. LiquidNet had a problem. Tony T was in charge of solving that problem. WebEx had a solution. Guess who I got the call? I got the call. I ended up doing one of the largest systems management software deals that year for WebEx in the small business sector that I worked in, which was it was a $50,000 deal. I ended up qualifying for President's Club. My wife and I were in Hawaii with the rest of the top sellers in the world because of that one small deal that I did. So why am I sharing that story in the Storage Ace community? Because the thing that I can tell you, the thing that I can promise with 100% certainty is that your persistence will pay off if you decide to be persistent. You might reach out to an owner with a call or a letter. You might get GFY. And if you don't know what that is, send me a direct message and I'll respond back. I don't want to put it here. You might get a not right now. You might get a don't ever call me again. You might get, I'm going to sell this thing to my kids. I'm leaving it to my grandkids in the will. You might get a million different reasons why they're not going to talk to you. The question is, what do you do next? Are you going to cross them off your list and never reach out again? Or are you going to call them a month to 2 months later? And then again, then again, then again, then again. Because I can promise you one day they're going to sell. One day they're going to have a problem. One day they are going to be tired of managing their facility and they're going to remember somebody that called them persistently time and time and time again. And that's going to be you. I promise. The question is, are you persistent? Are you going to be persistent? Are you going to continue to call back and find a way to continue to work with them, build rapport, build relationship, so that when that one day happens, they know who to call, and it's you, because you're the one that's going to carry on the legacy. You were the one that has been persistent. Believe it or not, people love people that are persistent. It just feels annoying on the front end, and we usually object to that just to blow them off. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, it works. The question is, are you going to be one of the 9 or are you going to be the 1? Be the one that is persistent, regardless of the objection, the feedback, or the comments that you get. And fast forward 6 months to 12 months from now, you'll be getting callbacks. You'll be getting emails back. You'll be hearing from potential sellers that are ready to sell their deal to you because you were persistent. We'll talk about in the future processes and systems to create persistency in your motion. And I've got lots of great ideas on that. But be persistent. I promise you it's going to pay off, and I promise you that it'll work. All right? Thanks again, you guys, for the time. By the way, you may or may not know, but all of this stuff is for you here right now. If you've joined before, like the first 50 people in this community, everything is always going to be for free for you in the community. Over on the right side of your screen, there's a link to the Storage Ace Ignite program. That is our more intimate group coaching session. It is fee-based. And if you're finding value in some of this free stuff that I'm giving away, imagine the value in that. If that might be something of interest, just fill out the form. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk and see where I can help you out on a more intimate, more one-on-one basis. All right. All right. Very cool. Thanks for your time. Hopefully this was great. Mindset Monday, persistency. Are you persistent? Be the 1 in 10. All right. See ya.